It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the four films of Labor Day weekend 2005. And usually this is the weekend when Hollywood likes to dump all the bad movies off on here because, um, nobody's really going to see the new movies on this weekend. There was a long time when Hollywood didn't even bother trying to put blockbusters out on this particular weekend. Although in recent years, that has been quite the opposite. Of course, we had Shang-Chi come out a couple of years ago, and I think it really started all the way back in 2007, if I'm not mistaken, with the Halloween remake, the Rob Zombie Halloween remake. And then every once in a while, you get a studio that puts something out, like The Final Destination, or what was another one? I'm trying to think of. I'm not talking about like stuff like Beetlejuice, or It, because those came out after the weekend after Labor Day. But every once in a while, you do get a blockbuster here and then. But back then, in 2005, not so much. But nevertheless, we do have four movies here. We've got the sequel. We got a sequel though. Jason Statham is back as the Transporter. We also have a film with Ralph Fiennes and Rachel Weisz, The Constant Gardener. We also have a Nick Cannon cop comedy where he's going undercover as a college student. And we also have the infamous The Sound of Thunder, the movie that literally killed Peter Hyams' career. Now, let's be honest, kind of killed Ben Kingsley's career as well. But then again, the guy was doing it to himself at this point. But I digress. Let's go ahead and jump into the first movie we have here, the biggest new release of the weekend, which is, of course, Jason Statham as Transporter in Transporter 2.
Yeah, I'm looking for a transporter. I'm listening.
It was supposed to be an easy assignment.
Hey, what's the first rule when entering a man's car? Good. This was a favor. I don't usually do this sort of a job.
I thought you were a professional driver.
A different kind of driving.
But in Frank Martin's line of work,
Jack Billings to see Dr. Coughlin.
Room 3 on your left.
nothing is ever what it seems.
Jack! Keep going, Jack!
What about you?
I'm okay! Hello.
You have 2 hours to get me $20 million in non-sequential $100 bills. 2 hours, Mr. Billings. Starting now. We don't know who we're dealing with. We think the driver may be in on it.
It's impossible.
Now,
He could have been setting this up the whole time and you wouldn't have known any different.
Got him.
the best in the business.
Is it stable? Yes, stable. Good.
He's back in the game.
What do you know?
It's more than a kidnapping.
What are you gonna do?
Find the guy responsible.
He's your friend?
Jason Statham,
Hold on. Just came out of the dry cleaners.
Impressive.
Transporter 2.
I love how the first time Frank Martin realizes something is wrong at this place is that he sees the nurse with the sexy lingerie on, and all of a sudden he automatically assumes that something is not right, and of course he's absolutely right on that. Like, if you're not going along for the ride at that point, you're probably not going to like this movie in general. And that it was actually very early on in the movie when you start to notice, yeah, something is very, very this movie knows how dumb it is, but if you go into it knowing what you're going in for, you're probably going to have a good time with it. And yeah, I had a good time with this one. You have, once again, Frank Martin, played by Jason Statham again, tasked with protecting the young son of a politician named Jefferson Billings, played by Matthew Modine, from an international drug cartel. You see Amber Valletta in there. Keith David is also in here as well. But, yeah, like I said, if you don't know going in how stupid these movies are going to be, then chances are you're probably not going to enjoy this movie. It's kind of like with the Fast and Furious movies. Unless you know, at least in the beginning, if you know how stupid these movies are going to get, because those Fast and Furious movies do get stupid, and there was a time when we let it go because they were stupid good fun. and then they kind of ruined it, starting with the eighth Fast and Furious movie, and yeah, at least with the Transporter movies, they know how stupid they really are. They know how ridiculous they are. I mean, Robot Chicken did a great bit with the Transporter mixed with Driving Miss Daisy, and that parody is almost as realistic as something that could actually happen in these movies in general. But these are good, silly, fun movies. The first movie wasn't really like that, though. It was kind of going for a more serious approach in general, but this is a movie that knows exactly how ridiculous and how over the top it can really get. But the action sequences are a ton of fun. Jason Statham is great once again as Frank Martin. I mean, he has a lot of charisma to him. He has a lot of persona to him, and he's can carry a movie like this to a level where you can go into it and just have a good time with it. I mean, there was a time when he had a number of different movies coming out where they were not that great, but god damn, the guy puts his all into it, and he makes he elevates the movie to a complete other level. Like, he did it with the Crank movies, he did it with War, he did it with A Bank Job, he's done it with a ton of movies in general, but this is definitely a movie that really works to his strengths as an action star in general. The script is a mess. There's no denying that the script is a mess. The logic makes no sense whatsoever. It's a very ridiculous, it's a very stupid movie, but it's a good, fun movie. It's a stupid, good, fun movie, and for Labor Day weekend, when there's not really a whole lot of fun films overall to come out, this is definitely the perfect movie to see on a Labor Day weekend. Just turn your brain off, have a good time with it, and you definitely will have a lot of good time with Transporter 2. No doubt about that one. But what more can I say, man? Transporter 2. Good, fun times all around. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is The Constant Gardener.
Take me to Africa with you.
They all need help.
That poor girl over there's been murdered.
Big pharmaceuticals right up there with the arms dealers.
Don't try and play detective.
Payoffs, cover-ups, unmarked graves.
These people, they kill anyone. From Joe le Carré's best-selling thriller comes one of the best pictures of the year. The Constant Gardener. Rated R. Uncover the Conspiracy. Wednesday.
Director Fernando Meirelles' follow-up to City of God, and in this movie, based off the novel by John le Carré, you have a man named Justin Quayle, who's a British diplomat in Kenya, played by Ray Fiennes, trying to solve the murder of his wife Tessa, Rachel Weisz, an amnesty activist, alternating with many flashbacks telling the story of their love. And, just like with City of God, this is a very good movie with a lot of great talent involved. Of course, Ray Fiennes and Rachel Weisz are great actors all around. You got Danny Houston in here, Bill Nighy, Pete Postlethwaite, and it's a really intriguing movie in general. And it's a film that really is an engaging storyline. Like, you do get caught up in this mystery, and you wonder where it's going to go, like what direction is it going to take, and what the end result is going to be. And it's a very good movie, and it plays to the strengths of this director, who did a very good job with City of God beforehand. And the writing as a whole is very, very good. Like, it's a very solid film overall, with a lot of great talent all around. And it was actually a massive hit, not just a box office winner, but a critical success as well. And actually earned several Oscar nominations, including a Best Supporting Actor one for Rachel Weisz, who really is very good in the movie in general. In fact, everybody in here is very good. I mean, Ray Fiennes does not usually do a lot of crappy movies. I mean, at least and even in the crappy ones, he's given it his all out there. And this is definitely another one of those movies that really does showcase why he's such a good actor overall. This is a really good movie. Can't recommend this one enough. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. The Constant Gardener. So, we got some good movies to start off the week. Now let's get to the really bad ones. And let's start off with the third movie we have on our list here. Nick Cannon starring in Underclassman.
I'm ready to be detective. You are a bike cop.
Officer Trey Stokes has never solved a case.
It's okay, people. I got everything under control. Sorry.
But he's about to get
A student at the Westbury School. Body was found just off campus. We're talking undercover?
the chance of a
Look
lifetime.
no further, sir. Officer Trey Stokes III.
Not qualified.
He does fit the profile. I'll enroll you at the Westbury School.
School.
In the last place he ever expected.
The school uniform is worn at all times. Welcome to Westbury.
I feel like I just stepped into a Britney Spears video. Come on! Y'all 18, right?
Put us together and we're 34.
Word? Those numbers still don't add up!
I mean, at first I thought of that Family Guy joke, but then after watching that clip again, they're basically 17. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but I don't know. I thought putting that Family Guy joke there at the end would add a little bit more humor to that. But, by the way, Nick Cannon was 23. It's supposed to be a 23-year-old in this movie, so really is not that close of an age bracket in general here. But the bottom line of the story is that, you know, you have a young detective going undercover at an elite prison school, good lord, an elite private school to destroy an international stolen car ring. Now, what's interesting about this movie is that this was originally supposed to be released in 2004, but there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes, especially with Dimension Films and Miramax, because, you know, this was the time of the infamous Disney Miramax split when it reached its critical height, and thus the film had actually remained in the vaults at Miramax unreleased during the time of its uncertainty. And when the Disney and Miramax divorce was finally complete, numerous films under the Miramax and Disney label were actually finally released, but most of them did not make a ton of money, and yeah, this one really did not. If you want to know how delayed this movie really was, the same director who made this movie just made a movie we actually just talked about not too long ago called Pretty Persuasion, which was a much better movie. This was not. This is just a MTV/WB version of something like Beverly Hills Cop, or even a lamer version of 21 Jump Street. Not the good 21 Jump Street movies, the TV series from the 80s, 21 Jump Street. But yeah, this is not a very good movie. This is a pretty lazy film. The jokes are pretty bad. Nick Cannon's trying too hard to be like a college version of Chris Tucker, which he's failing miserably at. How do you do a bad Chris Tucker impression? That is beyond me. Like, I find that hard to believe, but he's doing it in this movie, and it's just like, there's just nothing of value to this movie. This is a film that you could clearly tell was sitting on a shelf at a studio for several years, just waiting to be pushed out on a dumping weekend, so when the movie flops, everyone could be like, oh no, we put it out on the worst weekend possible. We didn't know it was going to bomb, or if you got lucky, maybe it becomes a surprise hit, and then you start making your own franchise, and yeah, this thing was never becoming a franchise to begin with. This is a lazy film, a really bad film in general, really bad jokes all the way through. It's not a really good movie, man. You could tell this was a film that was dumped with the intentions of never making any money back because they knew how bad it was. But if you want to see a better movie about this director this year, Pretty Persuasion is your answer. So, with that said, speaking of movies that were delayed for several years, on to the last one we have here, a movie that's even worse than Underclassman, and that is A Sound of Thunder. A movie that not only killed franchise pictures as a whole, pretty much. I mean, they only had 2 other movies coming out over the course of the next 2 years at that point, and neither one of them made any money. But this was the last one produced by Warner Brothers. It wasn't only the worst movie one of the worst movies they had done, but this is the worst movie that Peter Hyams had done, and his career pretty much ended with this film in general. But this is based off the classic Ray Bradbury storyline and follows a group of time tourists who accidentally interfere too much with the past, completely altering the present. I mean, you could have just taken the advice of Grandpa Simpson, what he told his son on his wedding night. You know, if you ever go back in time, don't step on anything, because even the slightest change can alter the future in ways you can't imagine. Why he decided to tell him this on his wedding day, I don't know, but hey, it worked for Homer in Time and Punishment, eventually. But yeah, this is a pretty bad movie. This is just a lousy film with some really bad special effects in general. And hey, this was a film that was in production for 3 years. This started shooting back in 2002. Didn't get a release until September of 2005. That should tell you everything you need to know about how bad this movie is. You want to know how bad this movie is? They were making video games off of this movie, and a game for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox were supposed to be released in 2003, but got canceled. They finally released a Game Boy Advance version of this in 2005. And it was supposed to be an overhead shooter game, because that's what I think of when I think of the story of A Sound of Thunder. Like, this story could make for a very interesting movie and make for a very entertaining film, but not with Franchise Pictures involved, not with the company that gave us such classics as Driven and Ballistics X vs. Ever. No sirree, Bob. No, not them. Yeah, they're going to find a way to completely dismantle this movie in general, and if they're not going to be the ones to do it, Ben Kingsley will do it, because he's trying to slowly but surely kill whatever's left of his career at this point. You know, just when you thought a movie like Thunderbirds was bad, Here's maybe probably. No, I take that back because he was in The Love Guru. I was gonna say this is his worst movie he's ever done. No, The Love Guru is the worst possible thing he's ever been involved in. But this is a close second, though. I mean, at least in this one, he's not pissing into like a gong like he's doing in The Love Guru. I think that's what he was doing there. But The Love Guru is just a terrible movie. We'll eventually get into that cinematic masterpiece of garbage in about 3 years' time when we get to 2008. But until then, this is the worst thing he's done. Until we get to The Love Guru. But yeah, I wish I had more to tell you, but yeah, this movie is complete garbage. It's a very bleak film. It looks so bad. The special effects are terrible. The action is terrible. The thriller aspects are not there. This is just a terrible, terrible movie. Avoid this one like the plague. A Sound of Thunder. Just if you hear it, just go away. Just run away as fast as you can, and yeah, just avoid it. And so on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and the next time we meet, we have some more garbage for you. We still are in the dumping weeks after all. We've got Scott Derrickson's feature film debut, the director of Doctor Strange and of course Sinister. We have The Exorcism of Emily Rose. We finally get to the infamous Samuel L. Jackson, Eugene Levy buddy cop comedy, The Man, and we also have An Unfinished Life with, was this Robert Altman directing this? I think. Lasse Hallström, not Robert Altman, but Robert Redford is probably who I'm thinking of, because he is in this movie. So is Jennifer Lopez, so is Morgan Freeman. So we'll take a look at those 3 movies, all on the next episode. That'll be tomorrow. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. We post here every single day, so if you want to do that, like, subscribe, notification button. But until then, I am off. I will see you guys next time. And until then, thanks for watching. And as always, take care.